What is good? This is Wager Talk's live late show ahead of the spread, where we check out the open numbers for tomorrow's games, notable live movement, discuss key matchups and angles for the next day's game. So you have an early edge for tomorrow. I'm Ronald Cabang, and I got the one and only Skee Prophet here with me today. Before we get into screen share and talking about the movement and all that stuff, real quick, want to share what we got going on over at Wager Talk. They just put together a deal for myself and Skee. Basically, buy one get one. You get 7 days all access for either me or Skee, and then you get the other person for free. That's over at wagertalk.com. All right, Skee. Let's get into let's talk about how things went today. I know we both were profitable today. How'd you do in the association? You're on mute, bro.
I gotta stop doing this. My bad, but everything was all good today. I went 2-0 in the association. Went Reeves over his 7.5 assists plus 115. That cashed. And then Cade over his 40.5 points, rebounds, assists, cash. 3-0 if you count college basketball. Notre Dame minus 11. So profitable day. I'll take it.
Yeah, for real.
How
Yeah.
about you?
Anytime you could take profit, you gotta you gotta go with it. I went 2-1 overall, 1-1 in the NBA, 1-0 in the NFL. I had the Grizz game under. I had the Clippers -5, and then the under 47.5 in the NFL. So, yeah, profitable day. Let's try to get some cash tomorrow, Skee. Let's share the screen here. So we got the Wager Talk free live odds page. Sorry, my bad. Let me fix
Shout
this.
out to y'all in the chat too. I see y'all night owls up here staying up late to tune in with us. We appreciate y'all.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I gotta remember that the East Coast guys are up at this time, not just the West Coast guys right now. All right, so we got the Wager Talk free live odds page right now. First game up, OKC and Philadelphia. We have OKC opening up at -12.5, and we're seeing majority at -11. We got Philly. The total 216.5 up to 218.5 at most books there. If we look at some of the situational stuff, we have just the Sixers on the first game of back to back. They got New York tomorrow, home to home. As far as injuries, I'll check the injury report real quick. So OKC, Caruso is questionable, and we got the Sixers. Quite a few people out. So we got Embiid out, we got Drummond out, Jared McCain is out, Caleb Martin is questionable. So it looks like it's moving towards Philly and also the overski. Do you agree with this line movement here?
I don't agree with they moving towards Philly. I'll say that first of all. It's very hard for me to look any other way than OKC. I think if you do like Philly, you probably need to get in and get out because OKC has been slow starters. I want to say they've covered 2 of their last 7 first half, something like that. So if you like Philly, that's the direction I would look. And I'm looking at it now. Last 5 games, Philly 3-1 and 1 ATS in the first half, but 1-4 for the full game. So a little bit of opposites for these teams. Maybe I'll
Mhm.
wait on this game and see how the first half goes. And if it's close or OKC is down, I bet second half OKC. But me personally, I want nothing to do with Philly. They're just too inconsistent for me. And OKC is a well-oiled machine. So
Yeah,
Thunder or pass for me.
just from a full season perspective, you can see the ATS numbers like total opposites. 26, 11, and 2 for the Thunder on the season, 13, 23, and 1 for the Sixers. You talk about like inconsistencies. I think they just consistently fail to cover at home. I think that's one of the biggest their biggest drawbacks. They're 4 and 13 ATS at home for Philly. So yeah, I definitely don't agree the number going to Philly, and especially with Embiid being out, that's gonna be tough for them. Anything from a prop perspective?
Nah, this is one of my least favorite games on the slate for tomorrow.
Got you. All right, let's move on to the Cavs and the Pacers. Cavs open up as -5.5 on the road here. 226. The total moved up to 228.5. We're seeing some 229s. And then movement to -7 towards Cleveland. So if we look at some of the situational stuff here, we got Pacers in a letdown spot. They did beat Cleveland outright by double digits. Cavs, they got the in-season revenge, double-digit in-season revenge, and they're coming off a bounce-back situation. Oh, they just played each other 2 days ago,
Yes.
so immediate revenge here for the Cavs. Um, from a injury perspective, if we look at Cleveland, doesn't look like anybody's on the list right now. Pacers, no Halliburton, downgraded to unlikely to play. Aaron Neesmith questionable, but yeah, we talked about this before. Skee, no Hallie. Seems like they tend to cover those types of games. They just over adjust the number with when he's not on the court. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, what you just said, I mean, it seems like it's no rush to go and bet the Pacers if you like them.
Hmm.
It's already moving towards the Cavalier side. And once he's officially listed out, you'll see that line jump again. Like just how we talked about Steph the other day, right? The line was
Hmm.
gradually going up. Then he's officially rolled out. It goes up to 10, 3-point move. I can see the same kind of thing happening for Indiana here. And their team was playing good basketball right now. They've won 6 in a row. I don't think it's too much of a letdown just because of how good they're playing right now. So,
Yeah.
this one I would wait, then maybe take Indiana last second at the best number. As far as the total, I'll say like this: the last time they just played, which was recently, the total was 240. They opened this one at 226 and a half, and I think everybody's just looking at it saying 226. Like it looks low when you look at both of these teams, but they just played and
Hmm.
scored 201. So
Yeah.
I think it's open low for a reason. I'm kind of, and then you're gonna get no Hallie too. I know it doesn't reflect there for the under, but I think this is more of an under game. So under or Pacers.
Yeah, while you were talking too, I was kind of looking at that. So what I did pull up on Killer Sports right here is the Pacers without Halliburton, 12-3 straight up, 12-3 ATS. Obviously, the Cavs are top tier, one of the top teams in the league. So you can't compare all the games, but what I wanted to look at was their defense in this spot and their opponents, Pacers opponents in this spot. It's 10-5 to their team total under. I haven't seen what the Cavs do off a loss though. Off a loss. Let me just check real quick. Cavaliers off a loss, 3-1 straight up, 2-2 ATS, three and
3-1
one
to
to
the
the
under.
under. Um,
Damn. They play
and
some
so they
defense,
limit their
huh?
opponents in that spot too. So I think you're right. I think the under is the right spot to go on this one. And I think man, do you think both defenses show up, or do you think that we take a single team like a cat? I was thinking Cavs team total under. You know how I like to take team total unders on the favorites usually, just because their numbers are a little bit higher, especially when I think that the dog can cover. Would you look towards Cavs team total under or just the full game in general?
I think, I mean, I think both. You just said that when Hallie's out, Indiana limits their opponents, and you just say Cavaliers when they're off a loss.
Hmm.
Those are lower scoring games too. I would trust both defenses to come in here and play. They just saw each other. They'll be familiar with each other on offense. Um, I think this one is definitely lower scoring. It's just a matter of when will you get the best number because it opened 226 and a half. Hallie's already doubtful and it's gone up
Yeah.
to 229. So
Hmm.
I'm not gonna lie. I did check like an hour or two ago, and I think I
Yeah.
saw 230. So I don't see a
Pretty.
230 anymore.
Yeah. Pretty Ray says 229.5 on FanDuel right now. So I mean, from here, seems like it's going up, but it sounds like you saw 230. So at some point, maybe that buyback comes at some point, but maybe I'll wait then to see if it continue goes going up.
Once Hallie's ruled out, though, it's not gonna go up when he's ruled out. It's gonna go down.
Yeah, it's weird because I mean, like downgraded to unlikely to play. I mean, like
Right.
how
Right.
out can it be? Just I mean, like you're just not using the word out. That's pretty much what it is. That's crazy. But yeah, I don't expect him to play based on that note. All right. So you good with that one, or
Yeah, we
anything
good.
from?
I mean,
Okay, let's go on
yeah, we
to
good.
Phoenix and Atlanta. Atlanta opened up at -1 at home. Now it's -3 for Phoenix. -3.5 at some books. DraftKings, Bet Online. Total 237 at open, coming down to 236, 235.5. If you look at some of the situational stuff here, Suns fatigue spot, third game in 4 nights, fourth and sixth. Hawks first game of back to back. They do have rest advantage though over the Suns here, and then they have the in season revenge. If we look at, let's look at the injuries. Phoenix, Nurk out, and Atlanta has some people on their list here. Bogdanovich questionable, Young questionable, Jalen Johnson still out. I mean, that's a pretty big shift to Phoenix here. What are your thoughts on it?
I agree with it. I mean, the rest advantage, I don't know how much of an advantage it is. They had one of their games postponed, and we always can make the discussion, rest versus rust.
Mm-hmm.
And I always say when you get to 4 days or more, it's going to start to turn into rest. And that's what Atlanta has right there. Phoenix, I get it, third game in 4 nights, although it's not a back to back, but they've been playing a little bit better lately, right? Looking at those, you see a few wins in a row. I think they can come in here and win this game. I think the line was wrong to begin with. I think
Mm-hmm.
it's absolutely moving in the right direction. I like the lineup change that Phoenix did. Get a little bit more defense in there with Dunn. I I would be betting Phoenix. You also have Trey Young here, game time decision.
Mm-hmm.
Bogdanovich game time. I mean, one of them could sit. They're on the front end of a back to back. I think it's only Phoenix here, and I think you need to bet this one sooner than later.
I mean, so they just played like what 5 days ago. Phoenix won by 8. Is this a situation where you want to wait for the news for Trey Young or Bogdanovich,
No,
or like you said, just go in now?
I mean, I would personally think you just get it as soon as possible because
Mhm.
if they're ruled out, it's only going to get worse. If they're ruled in, I mean, you're pretty much just asking Phoenix to win the game right now. So
Yeah. From a
that's
total
how I'm.
perspective, would you look towards the over?
That depends on who's available,
Got
for
you.
sure. I would
Got you.
wait to see who's there for Atlanta.
Okay, that makes sense to me. All right, so I don't have too much on that one either. I didn't really like that game, but if you do like the over, like you said, you probably want to wait for Trey Young there. All right, let's go to the next game. Pelicans and the Bulls here. Open up at -2.5 for the Bulls, down to -2 at some books. We got -1.5 at Bet Online, so it's moving towards New Orleans. The total 232.5 at open, steamed way up to 239 here at Circa, but you can get 237.5 or 238.5 at some other books. Um, Situational notes here. We have first game of back to back for the Pelicans. They have Dallas on deck, so road to home. And then the Bulls, they have, oh, they're also in the first leg of back to back games. They've been at home. They're going to be at home again tomorrow. They face Atlanta. Double digit in season revenge here. They face each other in October. Pelicans won 123-111. If we look at some of the injuries, we have New Orleans, Herb Jones and Brandon Ingram still out. And if we look at the Bulls side, Kobe White is questionable. AO's out. Craig's out. Torrey Craig's out. What are your thoughts on this one?
Yeah, this one I don't feel very strong about, but I'll say Zach Levine. I feel like he's been playing pretty damn good lately, and you don't have Herb Jones on the other side to defend
Mhm.
him. I just feel like I would probably bet on his points in this game if I'm betting anything. Other than that, I know New Orleans has been fast starters. They've covered 4 of their last 5 first halves, and outside of Jones, I mean, I guess you could say Ingram too, even though Ingram has been out, but they're pretty healthy compared to earlier in the season. So Pelicans first half, I guess, or Zach Levine points, but not sure that I'll actually have a bet in this game.
I was kind of leaning towards the Pelicans here. I know some of the ATS numbers don't point in that direction. Just 1-8 on the first leg of back-to-back games, 5-10 as road dogs. But man, they played some good ball the last couple of games for them. They almost beat Boston. They did beat Philly. They randomly just lost by 19 to Portland, but they stayed close with Minnesota. I mean, I feel like they're getting a little bit better, a little bit healthier, but obviously they are missing two key pieces. But overall, I feel like they've gotten a little bit better. Since the beginning of the season. I just feel like they're trending in the right direction while the Bulls, they're just, to me, are still really inconsistent. They'll have a good game, they'll have a bad game. Um, I feel like Pelicans might be the right side. I'll do some more digging and see if I end up going in that direction. But yeah, I like their momentum right now. Anything else on that one?
Nope.
Let's go to Sacramento and Milwaukee. We have the Bucks -2 at open. DraftKings has -2.5, but -2 at most books. Total 232 at open, down to 228.5 at circa, 229 at the other books. Situational stuff. First game of back to back for the Bucks. They do have Orlando on deck, home to home. And then if we look at the injury report, Milwaukee, Middleton is ruled out. Gary Trent Jr. is questionable, and on the Kings side, just Malik Monk is questionable. Man, what are your thoughts on this one here?
Yeah, I'm trying to double check to see.
Under.
Fox looks like he's gonna be back. Did he play? Yeah, he did play in that last game. I was making sure
Mhm.
because I didn't think I watched that one. But Sacramento's been playing good basketball. They've won what I think 5 or 6 games in a row ever since they fired Mike Brown. Right? They've just been winning basketball games. So
Yeah.
um, it's very hard for me to look the other way when I see that a team playing really well right now. And the spread just seems so trappy because the Bucks, I feel like, are a much better team than the Kings, but it's just the Kings are playing better right now. And I
Mhm.
personally value current form a little bit more than anything else. So Bucks also on the front end of a back to back. Who knows who at the end of the day ends up on the court playing? I think right now I have to lean with the Kings plus the points.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too. I just pulled up the Kings current right there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 straight wins. They did fail to cover one of them, but I think it was just by the hook, 6.5. Yeah, and they only lost by 6, so they failed to cover by the hook there. They have a lot of momentum on their side. They definitely look like they are wanting to play for Doug Christie. Do you think what have you seen differently? Do you feel like I feel like their shot selection is a little bit different. I feel like they're shooting a lot more threes. Like
Well, most
they're
of their games were without De'Aaron Fox, so it's gonna look
oh,
different.
that's
I
true.
mean,
Yeah,
they're sharing the ball a lot more. It just it's gonna be different when you playing without De'Aaron Fox.
gotcha. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. That one's pretty tough. But I would agree. I think lean towards the Kings plus the points there. All right, so we have two more games. We have the Nuggets and the Mavs. Nuggets open up as -5.5 road favorites here, down to 4.5 at most books. Total open up at 229.5, up to 231, even some 231.5 showing up here at DraftKings and Bet Online. Situational stuff. First game of back to back for the Nuggets. They have Houston on deck tomorrow, so road to home, and then Mavs also first leg of back to back games. They have the Pelicans tomorrow. Double digit in season revenge. They faced each other. Oh, they just went back to back. Dang, a lot of back to back games recently. Um, and Denver won that one by 11. Let's look at injury report. Dallas. Kyrie upgraded to questionable, so kind of looking like he might be able to play, but Luka is still out. And if we look at Denver, nothing really important there. What are your thoughts here, Skee? Like they just faced each other a couple of days ago, another quick revenge match. You think Mavs get their lick back?
I'm not sure about that, but what comes to my mind is they just played. That total was 232 and a half. They made it to 213. It opened here 229 and a half, and it's already back up to as high as 231 and a half. I mean, you get Kyrie, that's gonna make a hell of a difference for the Dallas offense. And I think he'll like to play with some pace too. So I know the Nuggets, they're good playing up tempo. I don't really trust them defensively. Um, so I'm thinking the market is moving this one in the right direction. I think this is an over game.
Over game. I mean, I think we when we used to talk about the Nuggets just like a couple weeks ago, we were talking about how bad their defense was, right? Giving up so many points to specific teams. If Kyrie comes back, I think that total will probably continue to move up, right? Wouldn't you think? If he's
Yep.
actually ruled in. Um, One thing that I just looked at, just because I noticed all these teams playing back-to-back games, um, back-to-back games this season specifically, just 2024. When teams are playing for the second game in a row, the team that won the first game, they're 14 and 14 straight up, but just 9, 17 and 2 ATS. So doesn't necessarily mean that the team that lost the first game will win, but it shows that they've been covering so far this season. I don't think it's been consistent though. If you look at last season, I don't think it's the same thing. Slightly towards the team that lost in the second game. So about a what 55.5% there to get that revenge in the ATS perspective. Uh, that one's tough, but I think that I would probably wait for Kyrie news to figure out if I want to mess with that total. But I do think that the over might be the way to go to. All right, last game up, we have the Nets and the Blazers. Blazers open up at -7.5, down to -6 at most books. We have the total opening up at 216.5. You can still get 216.5 at DraftKings, but it's coming down to 215.5 at Superbook, 216 at Circa, Caesars, Bet Online. So 216 it seems like the most consistent. Situationally, Nets first game of back to back, coming off an OT game against Utah. We have the rest advantage, two plus days of rest for the Blazers here, and they've been at home while the Nets have been on the road. That's elevation too. Denver, then Utah, then up to Portland. The first game of back to back, they got the Clippers on deck. So again, travel spot here, and it's still going towards the Nets from 7.5 to 6. You agree with the line movement here?
Oh, it's crazy to look at this game and see the Blazers -6. That tells you the
That's
state that the
yeah, I
Nets are
know.
in. Like when I first looked at this game, I didn't look at the spread. I just was like, okay, Blazers playing the Nets. I'm probably gonna look at Blazers early or something. But I didn't really think like -6. Like, damn, it's getting a little. I don't know. The Nets. I'll say this: they could get D'Angelo Russell back, could get Cam Johnson back, and that's a lot of points that they've been needing. Their offense has been terrible without both D'Angelo and Cam Thomas. Um, so it's kind of like I would want to know their status. At the same
Mhm.
time, I really trust that starting group for the Blazers, and I still think if you look at last 5 games, I'm pretty sure the first half numbers are good for the Blazers. I also think first quarter they've been pretty strong. So if I
Mhm.
can get a better price, avoid that -6 and just get in and get out, I think that's the way I prefer with the Blazers.
With the Blazers side, man, like you said, man, it's tough to see the Blazers favored by this much. So I'm gonna pull up real quick. Equals Trail Blazers. So they've only been favored twice this season. One and one, 1-1 straight up, 0-2 ATS. They failed to cover. Oh, both games against the Jazz, both of them went over. Man, I just don't. I would. I know the Nets, the way that they're playing right now, just it's terrible. But at the same time, I just can't find myself taking Portland as favorites right now. So it's a pretty gross game, but I would probably actually lean towards the Nets here, just because when two ugly teams, you kind of want to fade the favorite, in my opinion. Yeah, any thoughts on that? Actually, I mean, just do you typically look at it that way? If you see two bad teams, just kind of fade the favorite because I mean they don't really deserve to be favorites.
Mm, No. When I
You don't
see
see it
two
that way?
bad teams, I try not to bet the game. That's honestly what I try to do. But yeah,
Gotcha.
I'm trying to give you guys something. It's get in and get out with the first quarter, first half, or stay the hell away from this game. We have 6 other more basketball games tomorrow. I think
Makes
there's
a
a
lot of
lot
sense.
better choices. That's it.
Man. All right, so that's the whole slate there. I didn't. Did you see any questions in the chat at all?
Minimal.
No, I didn't see
Mark was
any
asking
either.
me about the Levine number. I mean, I gotta dig a little deeper into it, but I'm looking to play on Levine. That's all I'm saying, Mark. I know you're gonna ask me, YouCapper, but I don't know. I don't know if we need to deep dive today. I feel like we talked about all these games.
Yeah.
Um, One thing I want to say is though, now I see a 230 on Cleveland, Indiana. So,
So it's
like I
still going
said,
up.
it keeps bouncing around. I see 230s. So I don't think it's a rush to take that game if you like the under.
Yeah.
Um, I do think it's a rush to take Phoenix. It's already been moving. It's already moved a little bit, but I think Phoenix is one you want to get in sooner than later. And then other things I'm looking at here. I mean, I shouted them out. Sacramento, I just feel like is the right side. Who knows if I actually bet it? And the more that we talked about that Denver and Dallas, I do think Kyrie plays. I think that over still has room to go up. So that's one that I would probably want to get to sooner than later. If he's ruled out, I mean, obviously he could go back down, but I think it's telling us that he's going to play between the spread going down and the total going up. To me, that's
Yeah.
equaling Kyrie's going to be out there. So that's how I'm
Makes a lot
feeling
of
right
sense.
now about tomorrow.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. As far as the logic with Kyrie, so you gave your leans. My leans. So I agree with that. Cavs Pacers under. I think I'm gonna wait too to see what happens to the number tomorrow. I also lean towards the Kings. Um, I also lean towards the Pelicans, and then that nasty, ugly game. I feel like either Blazers team total under or the Nets ATS. I know it's an ugly game. You ain't gonna touch it. I don't know if I'm gonna touch it yet, but that's the way that I would look. Um, and that's it. We went through the whole slate real quick before we cut out here. I just want to remind everybody about that BOGO that I mentioned earlier. I'll bring that up real quick. Um, BOGO, buy a 7-day all access pass for myself or Skee, and you get the other person for free, basically. So both myself and Skee for a 7-day all access pass for the price of one.
And you went
Anything
2 and
else?
1 yesterday. And I went 3-0.
Yeah.
That's what? That's 5-1. Oh no. Did I do that right? It's late. It's late.
We ain't trying to
We
do
had a
no math.
winning day. We had a
We
winning
ain't do
day,
some
man.
Steiner math. We do. Oh yeah, NBA has been really good though. I think 64%. Let me just check. 64% since Christmas. And I think we're both on the positive side too for the season. So that's also good. NFL has been really good. I know your college basketball has been hitting. I know college football is coming to an end. Um, man, and then all of a sudden, dude, WNBA season. You
Yeah.
already know.
And I'm wondering if we're gonna be able to bet that unrivaled. Because if so, I'm gonna be paying attention. But if not,
Hey,
I'm not watching that shit.
let's see. Let's see if those numbers come up. Let's see if those numbers come up. All right. Well, that's it, guys. With that said, make sure you guys hit that like and subscribe button before you go. Leave us any comments. Leave your plays in the comment section. But I mean, like this is our only fifth or sixth episode. We're still
Yeah,
taking
let us know, man, what
recommendations and
y'all
stuff.
like.
Yeah, exactly. Any last words, Key, before we cut out?
I just appreciate the chat, man. It's late at night for you guys to stay up and come tune in with us. So just we really appreciate it. And yeah, can let us know in the chat. We want to continue to improve the show, like RC said. We want the show to be what you guys like. So if you have any suggestions or if it's something you don't like, let us know and we'll see if we can do better.
All right. With that said, whether you fade or follow, it is on you to make that call. Good luck with that reaction. Till next time. Peace.
Hit the like button though.
Oh yeah, hit that like button.